Welcome to your module map for module number 2. This week's focus is on Christology, specifically the work of Christ. So we're building on what we did last week with the person of Christ. Before I get into specifics of the assignments, I want to thank you for your hard work. Overall, I'm very pleased with the quality of work you have submitted. In this module map, I hope you listen carefully because I'm going to provide you with some quick feedback before you get grades. Sometimes you'll usually get your grades. Usually it takes a week or two for them all to post, and so I wanted you to have some immediate feedback before you went into Module 2's work to know really what I'm looking for and how you can improve your work to make it the best it can be. So first of all, let's talk about this week's reading. We're reading chapters 10 and 11 in Horton. And in the Elwell Dictionary, you've got several articles. These are all related to the atonement. We are also, as I mentioned last week, we're also reading ahead so that you're not bombarded with too much at once. And so we'll read chapter 3 from Brother Bernard as well, but that will not be part of our discussion or lecture or anything like that for this week. Okay, so let me speak just really briefly to you about the quizzes. Some of you struggled with the quiz this week, and so here's a couple of things I would say with that. I strongly encourage every one of you to take advantage. I'm giving you a freebie, right? I'm giving you the quiz questions to read. So here, to use while you're doing the reading. So here's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if you're struggling with the quizzes, did you actually read? Okay, to be honest. Secondly, if you did read, maybe you did all the reading and then you just tried to rely on memory to take the quiz, which also can be tough. So those are my two questions that I have for you. The questions are taken from the reading. So if you read it, if you've got the questions, you'll encounter it. Okay, they're not meant to be difficult or trick questions, but they are a good gauge in terms of whether you're reading and whether you are picking up the key points that you should be focusing on. Okay, so that's the quiz. The lecture video for this week, I really hope you'll take the time to watch that. Let me explain again the purpose for the lecture video. You're reading information from a lot of different sources, and what I'm doing in the lecture video is I'm synthesizing that and giving you more direct feedback from an apostolic perspective, okay? So it's beneficial for your knowledge, but it's also beneficial if you notice in your course requirements, you are supposed to be citing the lecture videos in your discussion board posts and in the apologetics letters. I'll talk to you more specifically about that here in just a moment. So I do need you to interact with that. That is an important part of the course. And like I said, each week they'll probably be 15 to 20 minutes in length. So it's not excessive. Okay, the discussion board questions. Let's talk briefly about those. You've got 4 discussion board posts. You guys, your content, great. You did a great job. I really appreciate, for the most part, the effort that was put forth. I would encourage a couple of things. Looking carefully at the word limits, especially for your responses, in order to receive full credit. Secondly, while this is more conversational, you are still required to bring in information from the texts, from any of the text readings or the papers or things like that have been assigned to read. You also are required to bring in information from the lecture video. Now, you have the same requirement for the apologetics letter, okay? Let me give you a little bit of feedback here that to let you know kind of how I'm thinking. Okay, so if you've had me before with New Testament, if you've had me before with IPT, so this first time around, I'm like, oh, well, this may be one of your first courses. Okay, by now this is an upper level course. It's, 200 level course. So I'm and you should get citations. You should understand that, yes, it's good for me to hear what you think, but I also want to know what the textbook says. I want to know what the lecture video says. I want to see that you can synthesize that information. What does that mean? That means that you can read things. You already have knowledge here. You can pull from that, but you can tie them together and you can let me know, hey, this is what I learned. Okay, that's the point. So for discussion board, that will look different from your apologetics letter. The discussion board, you can just say from the lecture we heard, or you can say from Horton's chapter 10, or something like that. But you need to say it. You need to cite it. Okay. And if the only thing you're writing about is things you already know, then you need to add other things. So the purpose of discussion board is to see, yeah, I'd like to know what you already know, what your opinions are, but I need to see that you've interacted with the reading. Okay, so that's the purpose of that. So I don't need you to follow Urshan style guidelines for your discussion board questions. Okay, I just need you to reference it. So some of you've got great posts this week, but you will not receive, for module 1, you will not receive full credit because you didn't follow the assignment guidelines in referencing your readings and lecture videos. Okay, the apologetics letter. It's more the same, okay? Now, where that's different is you are required to cite it. Some of you wrote fabulous papers and no citations, and some of you wrote fabulous papers and only cited the Bible, and some of you wrote fabulous papers and just put a book name at the end of it, okay? That's not acceptable. So you're not going to, again, you're not going to get full credit. And it's not that difficult to do, folks. So you're doing all this great work, you're working hard, but you need citations. So for the apologetics letter, while it is a letter, and I am very happy to hear your dialogue. That is the point, but it needs to be informed. It needs to be based on the sources that we've used in class. If you want to cite sources outside of what we've used in class, in addition, that's fine, but the primary sources you need to cite should be what we're doing in the course. Okay, so I hope you understand. If you've had courses with me before, I'll do everything I can to help make you successful. That's why my guidelines are extremely clear. Okay, at the apologetics letter, look at the grading rubric. You'll see exactly what I'm looking for. So if you take the time, I've made things very clear. I've put in a lot of effort to make you successful in that area, to let you know exactly what I'm looking for. I hope that is beneficial to you and you'll be able to make that happen this time around. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I hope you have a great week. God bless you.